Hey, what's up YouTube? Down the Fix It Man. Got another quick video here for you. I'm going to show you how to change your rear brake pads on a 2003 Toyota Highlander. Now, while we're in here, I'm also going to take a look at the parking brake and make sure that those shoes are still okay. And I'm also going to inspect this rear wheel bearing. The owner says they did hear a little bit of a noise. I'm not sure if it's our pads wearing down or the parking brake rubbing on something or maybe this rear wheel bearing. So we'll take a look at that as well while we're in here. But the first thing I like to do is push the caliper piston back in before we take off this caliper. But before we do that, I'm going to pop the hood and take a look at the master cylinder and make sure there's enough room for the fluid that's going to travel backwards through this line up into that master cylinder. We just want to make sure it's not going to overflow and make a big mess. So let's go do that now. Okay, our master cylinder is very full. You can see it's actually well above the max, so we're gonna have to extract some of this fluid in order to push that caliper piston back in. So let's go do that real quick. I've got a little brake fluid extractor and we'll suck some of this out. So normally I don't take these caps off if I'm just pushing the caliper pistons back in. On this one, we do have to take it off to take out some of the fluid. As an alternative, we could also open the bleeder screw and push out the fluid that way, but this seems to be the easiest way to do it, and I don't have to risk breaking off a bleeder screw, which would be a whole nother job. Okay, I think that's all we're gonna be able to get out of here with this extractor because of the design of that reservoir. Okay, I'm just gonna set this right up here while we push in that caliper piston. Now, as an alternative method, you could take off this rubber cap and crack open that bleeder screw and expel the old brake fluid out as you push the caliper piston back in. That's completely up to you if you'd like to do it that way. One benefit to that method is that you are also cycling through that old brake fluid, but if you do it that way, you're gonna have to bleed the brakes when you're done. The way that I'm doing it, we're not gonna have to bleed the brakes because we're not allowing any new air or anything to potentially enter into that hydraulic system. All we did was cycle it backwards, and now we're good to go. Now we know we have enough room. I'm going to put a little mini pry bar in here and just pull that towards me. Now I'm going to shift over to the inside pad here. I switched up to this smaller Mayhew demo driver. It's basically a screwdriver that you can pry with as well. Now we've got lots of room in there for the thicker pads. Now I'm going to take out this bottom caliper slide pin. It's a 17mm socket that we need on here. And we'll zip that out. Now all you need to do is just pivot this upwards, and then what we're going to do is just slide it off of the other pin over here. There's not another bolt head, so all we need to do is just pull it up and slide it back. And it should just pop right off. There we go. I'm just gonna hook this up here and hang it up on the coil spring well out of the way, and you can see that exposes this little slide pin. Now I'm still gonna take off this caliper bracket, but I wanna pop the pads out first. There's the inside pad, here's the outside pad. Now we've got two more bolts that hold this caliper bracket on. Just gonna use a 14mm socket on these. And we'll zip these out. It's a good idea to have one hand on this caliper bracket so it doesn't fall to the ground. Now, if your rotor drum combo doesn't come off easily, like this one looks like it's coming off super easy, but if yours doesn't come off easily, you know, you can hit this a few times right here along the sides with a little mini sledge or something like that. But you see these two threaded holes? If you grab a couple bolts that are M8 by 1.25 and thread them in, that will act as a force screw and pull this off of the hub. In our case, this is coming off easily, so let's take a look at these parking brake shoes. All right, well, our parking brake shoes do look like they're okay. I mean, of course they're thin, but those are just the parking brake shoes, and I'm really not too worried about that. I wanted to double check our bearing, and this actually feels pretty smooth and sounds pretty smooth, so I'm not gonna bother with changing that this time. I'm just gonna clean these up real quick. Now I'm also going to adjust this parking brake or tighten it up a little bit, and I'll show you how to do that. First, I'm just gonna knock off some of this dust with some brake cleaner. Now you don't want to soak that friction material too much. Just kind of knock that dust off. If you get too much of this on there, it can cause the glue to come off, but I think this will be just enough to get some of that dust out of there, and it'll quiet these down a little bit. You see these holes here? You can adjust these brakes with the drum on. That's one of the cool things about this design. You see this little rubber plug? All we need to do is pull that out, and then we need to line up this hole with this hole here or this hole here. So let's do that. Oh, I think I missed it. It's the other one. There we go. Now we line that up with the hole that's in the hub, and now we can put our adjuster tool through this opening. Well, this one's a little too big. We're gonna have to get a flathead or something like that to get in there, and we're gonna adjust that star wheel so that we feel a little bit of friction on that parking brake shoe with the parking brake off. Okay, now I'm just barely feeling that parking brake shoe make contact with this drum or disc drum combo. That's what I want, is just barely enough contact. That's gonna make our parking brake a lot more snug than it was. Then I'm gonna pop this little rubber plug back in. There we go. All right, before we put this bracket back on, we're gonna change out the hardware. Just pull these off. I'm gonna use a wire wheel on a drill to clean this up. If you're gonna use something like that, just make sure you wear some safety glasses. Now, before I put the hardware on here, I'm gonna brush those little recesses with some of this caliper grease, more as a protectant, not so much a lubricant. It'll just help prevent some corrosion underneath here, which would push up on those clips. I'm also gonna lube up this pin right here, and we'll do the same thing with this other side. Now, our brakes came with 8 of these little clips here, and of course we only need 4, 2 for either side. If you look really closely, you'll see that the opening is a little bit wider on this one here. Also, the little tab right here that locks in place is also just a little bit wider on this one on my right hand. So I matched this one up to the old ones, and it looks like it's the correct one. So we're gonna use these ones here that came with the kit. They seem like they fit the best. I'm just gonna smear that grease around here a little bit better, and we'll drop this in. Now you just got to make sure you push this little center tab all the way down. I'm also just going to take some of this excess grease off of my glove and wipe it in there. Same with this one here. That looks pretty good right there. All right, before we put that bracket on, I'm going to put a little bit of this Permatex thread locker on these Caliper Bracket bolts. That'll do it. All right, and then we can put the bracket back on and get these bolts started. Now I'm just going to get these snug. And the torque spec for these Caliper Bracket bolts is 43 foot-pounds. If you've got an all-wheel drive model, it's going to be different. I think it's 58 foot-pounds. Now, as far as this little squealer or noisemaker that's attached to the old pads, our kit did come with new ones, so just need to attach those to the old pads. If you take note here, they were on the bottom of both pads. They're actually not just on the inside. These are on the bottom of both of them, so let's do that now. They just snap right on like that. And you know, sometimes I'll just throw a little bit of that caliper grease on the ends of the pad too. Just kind of helps it not get bound up in there. Put this in at a little bit of an angle. Just a little dab of that grease. I know that a lot of people say that this will just gather dust or melt off, but I think it does seem to help prevent that from binding up in here. Okay, that looks good. Now I also like to apply a little bit of this stuff here, this Permatex Silicone Ceramic Extreme, just to the back of the shim here. It seems to help cut down some of the vibration that causes squeaks and squeals. Now, as I mentioned, I put a little bit of caliper grease on this pin right here, but I kind of rubbed it off on accident with my hand, so I'm just going to make sure that that's got a nice clean coating on there. And we can bring the caliper back down. Want to take a look at this bore here too. Looks pretty clean. I guess we could always put some grease in there as well. And same with this one here. And then we'll just slide that on. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now we just need to carefully lower this down over our pads. All right, now I don't know that it calls for it, but I'm going to put just a little bit of thread locker on this Caliper Slide Pin bolt as well. I just don't want that to accidentally back off. And this is medium strength. It shouldn't be a problem. Just applying that to the threads, but I'm also going to put a little bit of this caliper grease on this pin. And then let's pop that in over here. I'm just going to get that started by hand. Now I'm just going to lightly make this snug with the Milwaukee here. All right, and then we can torque this slide pin bolt here to 25 foot-pounds. All right, And we're done. Now, before you head out, it's very important that you get in the car and press down on the brake pedal several times until it feels firm, which will push this caliper piston back out, pressing those pads up against the rotor where they need to be. Now, when you do that, don't press the brake pedal all the way to the floor. That can damage the seals in the master cylinder. Just press it down about halfway several times until it feels firm. And then don't forget to double check that fluid level in the master cylinder as well and top that off if needed. Now, I know this is just a quick little pad slap, as you guys call this, and a lot of you say that this is not the right way to do things. You know, you have to change the rotor, you have to machine it, you have to turn it. This was what the customer wanted today. They're in a little bit of a hurry and of course on a bit of a budget, so they brought their own pads and asked if I could throw them on for them. I said, yeah, we'll do that for you today. Now, we still took off the disc drum combo here to inspect it and make sure that those parking brake shoes were looking okay, and they were. You know, of course they're a little worn down, but that's not real critical being that it is a parking brake, and the bearing doesn't sound like it's making any noise or anything that's real serious. So I think we're going to call this one done for this owner. Maybe the next time they'll be able to change out these rotors and maybe even those parking brake shoes as well. Now, hopefully that solves our noise issue as well. Doesn't sound like we have anything binding or grabbing, but that's pretty much it. I hope you liked the video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you don't mind. That does help me out. And of course, I'll get a link in the description to some of the parts and tools used in the video as well. Thanks so much for watching and good luck.